What is a wrongful death claim in a nursing home case? I'm Pressley Henningsen, trial lawyer at RSH Legal. A wrongful death case in a nursing home context means that someone at the nursing home hurt your loved one and that caused them to die. In order to bring a wrongful death claim in a nursing home context, you have to prove that there was negligence, and that can be from an act or an omission, failing to do something. There was a duty, in other words, it was the nursing home's job through one of its employees or contractors to take care of your loved one, and that didn't get done. That is the third prong, the cause. You have to show that what they did or failed to do actually caused the death. And then you have to prove damages. That might seem obvious when someone dies that there are in fact damages, but for instance, in order to get pain and suffering damages, you have to show that the loved one was conscious. There are many types of specific nursing home wrongful death claims. Several of them relate to falls. In the elderly, falls cause fractures. And when the elderly sustain fractures, they can't get up and walk around like they need to, which complicates all of their underlying conditions. It's been shown in studies that if an elderly person fractures a long bone in their body, they have a 60% chance of death in the oncoming months. Pressure injuries are very common in nursing home wrongful death cases. That means the nursing home is not taking care of your loved one's skin. And the skin is an organ that we need to keep healthy, to keep alive. A lot of times this simply happens because they don't help your loved one go to the restroom or clean up after doing so. Other times it happens because they're not properly rotating your loved one every 2 hours. Sometimes there are underlying conditions such as peripheral artery disease or diabetes that can complicate the ability to take care of your loved one's skin, but it's the nursing home's job to make sure that they're doing it correctly. Nursing homes are supposed to be providing skilled nursing assessments on a regular basis to your loved one, and that includes specifically doing skin assessments. That means a head-to-toe assessment of your loved one to make sure that they're not developing any red spots, which are indicators of pressure or poor circulation. They also need to make sure that they're receiving proper continence care and are clean. Some wrongful death cases in a nursing home context relate to improper medication. Sometimes they're over-medicated, sometimes they don't get the medication they need. A nursing home is supposed to administer all medications to their residents and make sure they're accurately charting what medications were given, when, and by whom. And if that's not happening, it can relate to a death. Sometimes nursing homes aren't properly staffed. Your loved one is allowed to elope out of the facility and is exposed to a risk, the weather, or some other harm that can relate to their death. One of the more common problems that we see in nursing home wrongful death claims are those that relate to nutrition and hydration. If the elderly are not properly fed or provided water, it greatly complicates everything going on with their underlying health conditions and very quickly can lead to death. In a wrongful death case, you might be wondering, well, who can sue? First and foremost, an estate must be opened in order to bring a wrongful death claim. The estate owns the wrongful death claim. But in addition to that, spouses and children have a loss of relationship claim. Those two can be brought, but first you must open up the estate. The damages in a wrongful death case are limited by what's allowed under Iowa law. This includes pain and suffering, loss of use, and by that I mean the loss of the use of the body. For instance, if someone suffered a fracture and can no longer walk, they will have lost the use to walk. You are also entitled to loss of consortium, loss of relationship damages. This isn't love, but this is your actual relationship with the person that's been severed due to the wrongful death. You're also occasionally allowed to ask for punitive damages. These are damages designed to punish the nursing home for what they did or what they failed to do. One of the first issues that has to be addressed in a wrongful death case is the statute of limitations. It does not begin at the date of death. It begins at the date of harm. What I mean by that is if someone falls and they survive for 5-6 months and then they die due to complications related to that fall, you actually need to bring the lawsuit within 2 years from the date of the harm, the fall, not the death. One of the first determinations that we have to look at before we bring a wrongful death case in a nursing home setting is, did someone on behalf of the loved one, or did the resident themselves sign an arbitration clause? Often these are stuck in at the end of all the admissions paperwork, and you're simply told, sign here. You don't even know that you're signing away your Seventh Amendment right to a jury trial. But we need to make that determination early on to see what is there regarding arbitration and what happened and how it was signed, because generally they are enforceable. However, there are exceptions, and we will look hard to see if in fact that arbitration clause can be set aside and you will have a right to a jury trial. As you know, you have rights under the U.S. Constitution. The Seventh Amendment is your right to a civil jury trial. And what that means is that in the event you have a civil dispute over money damages, you have the right to have a jury trial. However, some time ago, corporations and businesses started to decide that they didn't want to have jury trials when they got into a fight with each other. So they would agree early on in their contract that in the event there was a fight later on, they would arbitrate it. And all that really means is they would have a condensed hearing without a jury. They would hire someone to be the judge, and they would make a determination on how to resolve their conflict. And that made sense because they were two equal standing companies and corporations, and they agreed to this on the front side. The sad thing that has begun to happen in the healthcare industry is at the end of your admission documents, the nursing home will slide in a document and have you sign here without knowing what you're signing. And what they have you signing is an arbitration clause. You should refuse to sign the arbitration clause. There is no way they have the right to force that upon you, and nobody that would actually stop and think about it would do that in a healthcare context. So be careful when you're signing any admission documents. But in the event you have already signed those and you're looking now at a wrongful death claim, a nursing home trial attorney can take a look at that document to see if it's in fact enforceable. There are some exceptions. They are generally held to be enforceable, but there are some exceptions, and any skilled attorney can take a look at that for you. You can't do a nursing home negligence claim on your own. And what I mean by that is that if you had a small claims action against a neighbor over some kind of fee, or against somebody that just caused a little damage to your bumper and no personal injury to you, you might bring a small claims action on your own. You can't do a nursing home case on your own. You have to hire a skilled nursing home attorney. That attorney can help you review all of the documents, get the estate up and running that's necessary to bring the wrongful death claim, hire the experts, look into whether or not there's an arbitration clause and whether or not it's enforceable, and deal with all the tactics and underhanded approaches that insurance carriers take in these cases. You're going to need a skilled nursing home attorney if you're considering a nursing home claim. If you believe that you have a potential wrongful death nursing home case, you need to speak to a skilled trial lawyer who tries nursing home cases. You can give us a call for a free, no obligation evaluation of your case, and we can let you know how we feel about it, what the issues are, what you're looking at regarding cost and time. All of those things will be done for free and in a timely manner. So for your free, no obligation evaluation of your potential nursing home wrongful death case, call RSH Legal at 1-800-433-0283.